Hey everybody, it's Josie here. I realise it's a little bit late, but I thought I would do kind of part 2, 3-ish of my November wrap-up because I realised I did read some books that I haven't talked about yet. I know I did quite a few kind of individual reviews for books that I really loved or had really strong feelings about, but I thought I would talk about some of the books that I haven't yet. And this may be a little bit of an unpopular opinions video at one stage, because there is a book that I know is very popular and I had some feelings about this book. So yeah, so there might be an unpopular opinion, but I'll start with the first book I read. And this one here is called Eating Animals. And this was part of my non-fiction November reads. This book, I love this book. It is so eye-opening. It's essentially, again, obviously it's non-fiction. It is about what we eat, and as it says on the title, Eating Animals. It's about the meat industry, the dairy industry, the industry that focuses around eating animals and animal products. And as a vegan, I'm obviously really passionate about not eating animals. But I think that, so for me, this book was very affirming in what I believe. It did also open my eyes. There were some things in this book that I had no idea about, particularly when you're talking about organic farming and what that entails, how many farms are actually organic, and just what really goes into the food and the animals that end up on your plate. And I highly recommend this for anybody that does still eat meat, or anybody that's maybe considering becoming a vegetarian, a vegan. I think this book is essential reading pretty much for anybody that eats meat or, yeah, has ever put an animal product in their mouth, just to kind of really get you to understand where that comes from, how that actually gets on your plate, and what the animals go through behind the scenes as well. I think it's incredibly eye-opening. And, you know, if you still choose to eat meat after that, that's fine, but I do absolutely recommend reading this book. It was amazing and eye-opening and gut-wrenchingly sad for me in a lot of places. So, yeah, it's a serious starter. The next one, I suppose not that serious, is this one over here. Oh, I've got it upside down. Great, that's a great start. The Roanoke Girls. Again, this one I think was quite popular a while ago. I know a lot of people have read The Roanoke Girls. It's a thriller. It's basically about this family and their name is Roanoke. They have this estate, this beautiful estate, and the girls in this family, they seem to sort of have tragic endings, most of them. And our protagonist, I read this a while ago, Lane, is her protagonist. She gets sent to live with her grandparents at this estate. And she meets her cousin there as well. And it's basically about their family, and you discover secrets about the family. I'll be honest, some of the themes in this book I wasn't expecting. And I almost want to put a trigger warning up, but if I do put a trigger warning up, I'm going to actually ruin the plotline of the book. So I would say it's about family secrets. It's about what happens in families. It's about abuse. Yeah, it was... I always feel like I can't really say I enjoyed. I mean, it was a good kind of thrillery, I guess, although I kind of guessed what was happening quite early on. And like I said, there is something in here that, yeah, about abuse within a family that happens to girls. So yeah, I probably gave this a 3.5 stars. I wasn't blown away with the thriller aspect, and I guess because I wasn't expecting what I got. Yeah, so this is a 3.5 star for me. Yeah, I wasn't too sure about that one. So anyway, moving on to a really good book that I really loved is this one here, is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. And I think I did a kind of like a diary while I was reading this, saying, why the hell have I not read this book before? And I thought it was going to purely be a love story, and it's not. I loved this book. It was about friendship, and it has that trope in it that I love, about this kind of found friendship group of kind of almost misfit individuals, and they form their own little family. And I think the characters that Maggie Stiefvater has written are incredibly complex. They're really interesting. This is the first book in a series, so I will definitely be continuing with the rest of the series. I want to know what happens. I want to know what happens to these characters. Blue, I love her character. I love her aunts and her family. There's some magic in it. It's realism, so it's set in our time, but there's some magic in it. The characters are amazing. The characterization is fantastic, and I really love the series. So this is like a 4.5 star read for me. I really enjoyed it. Then the next one I've got here that I really enjoyed actually is this one over here, is The Watercooler, and this I think was it was Man Booker Prize nominated. It is a gorgeous read. It's kind of hard to describe. So it's set in a sort of dystopian future where women, essentially men, are toxic to women, and I think it has some really interesting commentary on obviously gender. About gender roles. So what happens in this book is that there's a family of 3 girls, and their parents have basically, I guess, almost hidden them away on this island, and they live there only with their parents, and they're told to go through these what they call water cures, where they are like ridding themselves of emotion, of hysteria, I guess of sexuality, and again I would say there is some abuse is definitely a trigger warning in here, and then these men actually come to the island and what happens there, and it's a real comment on society, on owning your own body, on, you know, on relationships, on families. I really enjoyed it. It's not like a happy-go-lucky fun read, but it is beautifully written, and I think it's a really great read for anybody that's interested in kind of gender, politics, and feminism. So I really love this, and it's a beautiful cover as well. So again, this is like a 4.5 star read for me. And then this one here, I love this book, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It was super hyped up. I know everybody and their uncles read this, but I hadn't, and I freaking loved it. It is basically a fictional autobiography of a Hollywood star, and she talks about her life, about her 7 husbands, and about her real life love and who she really fell in love with, and the reason why she has 7 husbands. And it's gorgeous, it's queer as heck. I loved it. I loved it as much as I was hoping I was going to love it. 5-star read for me, one of my books of the year. It is fantastic. I can't recommend this enough. It is so much fun to read, and it's also really interesting on that kind of, if you're queer, there's a lot of that in there, obviously, about loving who you want to love, about being who you want to be, about being a strong woman. Evelyn Hugo is a fantastically written character, very, very strong woman. So I recommend this book. It is incredible. I mean, me and everybody else, but. And then the last one I've got here, and this is going to be the unpopular opinion. So I saved this for last. This is The Diviners by Libba Bray. Now, I know a lot of people really love this book, and it is, I mean, when I read the premise, this was set up for me to really love it as well. It's set in the 1920s, which is a fantastic era. I'm a great Gatsby fan, so that was really great. The central character sounded really interesting. She sounded like she was going to be kind of a strong flapper, uncovering a mystery with some sort of murder thrown in, which I got. However, my rant about this book is that the lead character, Evie, is a complete idiot. I don't know if that is a choice that Libba Bray made, but she's written, in my opinion, like she's really not very smart. And it kind of, it grated on me. The first 100 pages, and this is a thick book, the first 100 pages, I almost DNF'd it, because the way she does this thing where she tries to make the dialogue that Evie's talking, make her sound like she is from the 20s and she's a flapper, but really she seems to only do that with Evie's character, so it jars with the other characters, and also it's very annoying. It's not done well, in my opinion, and it makes her sound like a complete airhead, and that really jars with this premise of her helping her uncle uncover this mystery and find this killer. And I mean, there's a line, I think I tabbed it somewhere in the book, where they're going to a murder, and she says to her uncle, she's like, "Oh, hang on, Unc, I need to go change my shoes first." And it's like, you're making her sound really stupid. And it drove me nuts. The rest of the book, like the peripheral characters are really good. The story I actually really enjoyed, and stupidly, I did buy the second book before I read this one, because I thought it was going to be amazing. So I probably will read the second one, just for kind of the mystery aspect and the whole diviners element kicking in, because this is the first in, I think, 3 books. But my God, if that main character does not improve, she did improve a little bit right at the end of the book, but she drove me up the wall. And actually, I would love to hear what you guys thought that have read this book. Did you find her as annoying as I did? Did you find her a bit of an airhead? And maybe it was because I just read a whole pile of books with really strong female characters, and I love really strong female characters that are very capable and very smart and very, yeah. She just comes across as a complete nitwit. So I only gave this 3 stars, and that's 3.5 maybe for the mystery element and the kind of the setting, which I really liked. So yeah, that I was very disappointed in. So anyway, that is my part 2 wrap up for November. Have a great December. I'll be back with loads of videos. And yeah, let me know what you thought about The Diviners and any of the other books. Have a good one. Bye.